Maya had always been the type of person who liked things simple and predictable. Her small apartment on the third floor of an old building was exactly how she wanted it: quiet, clean, and completely hers. She worked as a graphic designer from home, which meant she spent most of her days in comfortable silence, creating digital art while sipping endless cups of coffee. The idea of having a pet had crossed her mind maybe once or twice over the years, but she always talked herself out of it. Pets needed attention, care, and money she wasn't sure she wanted to spend. Plus, what if something happened to them? What if she messed up and couldn't take care of them properly? It seemed easier to just stick to her plants and her work. But life has a funny way of changing our plans when we least expect it. It was a Tuesday night in February, and the weather outside was absolutely terrible. The kind of winter storm that makes you grateful to be inside with heating and hot soup. Maya had been working late on a project for a client, completely absorbed in her computer screen, when she heard something that made her paws dot at first. She thought it was just the wind making weird noises through the building's old windows. But there it was again, a soft, desperate sound that seemed to be coming from somewhere outside. She tried to ignore it and get back to work, but the noise kept coming. It sounded almost like crying, but not quite human. Curiosity got the better of her. She saved her work, grabbed her warmest coat, and headed downstairs to investigate. The cold air hit her face like a slap when she opened the building's back door. Snow was falling heavily, and the wind was howling through the alley behind her apartment building. That's when she saw her. Huddled next to the big green dumpster was a small cat, and she looked absolutely miserable. Her fur was wet and matted, stuck to her tiny body in clumps. One of her eyes was swollen shut, and she was shivering so hard that Maya could see it from several feet away. The poor thing was making those soft crying sounds she had heard from upstairs. Maya's heart broke instantly. She had never considered herself particularly soft when it came to animals, but seeing this little creature suffering in the cold did something to her. Without thinking too much about it, she slowly approached the cat, speaking in the gentlest voice she could manage. "Hey there, little one. What are you doing out here in this weather?" The cat looked up at her with one good eye, and Maya could see fear mixed with desperation in that gaze. The cat didn't run away, which told Maya that she was probably too weak or too cold to move much. Maya knew she had to do something. She couldn't just leave this poor animal out here to freeze. But she also had no idea what she was doing. She had never owned a pet before, never even pet sat for friends. Still, she couldn't walk away. She went back upstairs and grabbed an old towel from her linen closet. When she returned to the alley, the cat was still there, looking even more pitiful if that was possible. Very slowly and carefully, Maya wrapped the towel around the shivering animal and picked her up. The cat was surprisingly light, and Maya could feel how cold she was even through the towel. She carried her upstairs, talking softly the whole way, though she wasn't sure if it was more for the cat's comfort or her own. Once inside her apartment, Maya found herself in completely unfamiliar territory. What do you do with a sick, wet cat? She had no cat food, no litter box, no idea about veterinary care. But she had to start somewhere. She set up a makeshift bed in her bathroom using more towels and an old cardboard box. The cat seemed grateful for the warmth and safety, curling up in the corner of the box and finally stopping that heartbreaking crying sound. Maya spent the next few hours researching everything she could find online about caring for sick stray cats. She learned about warming them up gradually, about not feeding them too much too quickly, about signs of serious illness that required immediate veterinary attention. The more she read, the more worried she became. This cat clearly needed professional medical care, and Maya wasn't sure she was ready for that kind of responsibility or expense. Her original plan was simple: keep the cat warm and safe for the night, then take her to the animal shelter in the morning. But as she sat on her bathroom floor, watching the cat sleep peacefully for the first time probably in weeks, Maya started having second thoughts. She did some research on local animal shelters and discovered that the closest one was a high-kill shelter. That meant if the cat wasn't adopted quickly, especially with her medical issues, she probably wouldn't make it. That night, Maya found herself lying awake in bed, thinking about the small cat sleeping in her bathroom. She had never thought of herself as particularly compassionate or nurturing. But something about this situation was different. Maybe it was seeing a creature so vulnerable and in need of help. Maybe it was the way the cat had looked at her with that one good eye, as if she knew Maya was her only hope. By morning, Maya had made a decision that surprised even her. She was going to keep the cat, at least until she was healthy enough to find a good home. She called in sick to work and spent the day researching veterinarians and making an appointment for later that week. As she sat drinking her morning coffee, watching the cat tentatively explore her bathroom, Maya realized that her quiet, predictable life was about to become a lot more complicated. She had no idea that this small, injured cat would end up teaching her some of the most important lessons about love, trust, and what it really means to be there for someone else. The cat seemed to sense that something had changed too. For the first time since Maya had brought her inside, the cat made a sound that wasn't crying or distressed. It was quiet and uncertain, but it was definitely a purr. The first few days with Luna, as Maya had decided to name her, were nothing like what she had expected. Maya had somehow imagined that rescuing a cat would be like in the movies. The grateful animal would instantly bond with her rescuer, and everything would be sweet and simple. Reality was much more complicated. Luna was scared of everything. When Maya walked into the bathroom in the morning, Luna would immediately hide in the corner of her cardboard box, making herself as small as possible. If Maya moved too quickly or made any sudden noise, Luna would flinch and sometimes make a low hissing sound that broke Maya's heart. The vet visit had been an adventure in itself. Getting Luna into the carrier Maya had bought required patience. In thick gloves, Luna had scratched and fought, clearly terrified of being trapped again. At the clinic, she had hidden under the examination table and refused to come out until the vet had to carefully coax her with treats. The diagnosis was better than Maya had feared, but still serious. Luna had an eye infection, was severely underweight, and showed signs of having lived on the streets for several months. The vet estimated she was probably less than a year old, still basically a teenager in cat years. She needed antibiotics, special food, and lots of care. She's been through a lot. The vet had told Maya, it's going to take time for her to trust again. Don't expect overnight changes. Maya took those words to heart, but some days were harder than others. Luna would eat the food Maya put out for her, but only when Maya wasn't watching. If Maya tried to sit in the bathroom and keep Luna company, the cat would stop eating entirely and just stare at her with those big, wary eyes. The breakthrough came in the most unexpected way. Maya had been working on a particularly challenging design project and was feeling frustrated. She had been sitting at her computer for hours, and her neck was stiff and sore. Without really thinking about it, she wandered into the bathroom to check on Luna. Instead of hiding immediately, Luna was sitting in the middle of the bathroom floor, looking up at Maya with what seemed like curiosity rather than fear. Maya sat down on the floor, keeping some distance between them, and just started talking. I'm having a terrible day, Maya said, her voice tired. This client keeps changing their mind about what they want, and I feel like I'm going in circles. I bet you know something about having bad days, don't you? Luna tilted her head slightly, as if she was actually listening. Encouraged, Maya kept talking. She told Luna about her work, about how she had always been better with computers than with people, about how quiet her life had been before Luna arrived. As she talked, Maya noticed that Luna had moved a little closer. Not much, just a few inches, but it was progress. Maya kept her voice soft and steady, not making any sudden movements. The vet says you need to gain weight, Maya continued. I know the food probably doesn't taste as good as whatever you used to catch for yourself, but it's better for you. I'm still learning how to take care of you, so you'll have to be patient with me. That's when it happened. Luna took another small step forward, and then another. Maya held her breath, afraid to move and break the spell. Luna got close enough that Maya could see the details of her face. The way her injured eye was healing, the small pink nose, the whiskers that twitched when she was thinking. Very slowly, Maya extended her hand, palm up, letting Luna decide what to do next. For a long moment, they just looked at each other. Then Luna did something that made Maya's heart skip a beat. She reached out with one small paw and touched Maya's hand. The contact lasted only a second before Luna pulled back, but it was everything. Maya felt tears forming in her eyes, surprised by how much that tiny gesture meant to her. "Thank you," Maya whispered, and she meant it. From that day forward, things began to change. Luna started spending more time outside her box, exploring the bathroom and eventually venturing into the rest of the apartment. She would follow Maya around at a distance, always ready to run if needed, but clearly interested in what Maya was doing. The real breakthrough came during Luna's third week with Maya. Maya had been having a particularly stressful day and had decided to take a break from work. She was sitting on her couch, feeling overwhelmed and a little lonely when Luna appeared in the doorway. Instead of keeping her usual distance, Luna walked right up to the couch and looked at Maya as if she was trying to figure something out. Then, to Maya's amazement, Luna jumped up onto the couch and settled down about a foot away from her. Maya sat perfectly still, afraid to breathe too loudly. That's when she heard it, a soft, rumbling sound that she had never heard from Luna before. It was quiet and uncertain, but it was definitely purring. "Oh my goodness," Maya said softly. "Are you actually purring?" As if embarrassed to be caught, Luna stopped purring immediately and looked away. But Maya could see something had changed in her expression. The constant fear was still there, but there was something else now, a tiny spark of trust. Maya slowly reached out her hand, moving as carefully as she could. Luna watched the movement but didn't run away. When Maya's fingers finally touched the soft fur on Luna's head, the purring started again. Louder this time. For several minutes, they stayed like that, Maya gently stroking Luna's head while Luna purred and slowly relaxed. But then something strange happened. When Maya stopped petting to reach for her water glass, Luna did something unexpected. She bit her. It wasn't a hard bite or an aggressive one. It was more like a gentle pinch, just enough to get Maya's attention. Luna looked at her with those big eyes as if to say, "Why did you stop?" Maya was confused at first. Had she done something wrong? But when she started petting Luna again, the purring resumed immediately. When she stopped again to answer her phone, Luna gave her another gentle bite. "Oh," Maya said, suddenly understanding. "You don't want me to stop, do you?" Luna's response was another soft bite, followed by the loudest purring Maya had heard yet. It was as if Luna was saying, "Finally, you get it. Don't stop. I need this." Maya realized that Luna wasn't being aggressive or mean. She was communicating in the only way she knew how. After months of being alone and afraid, Luna had found someone who cared about her, and she was terrified of losing that connection. From that day forward, Maya began to understand Luna's unique language. The purring meant safety and happiness. The gentle bites meant "please don't stop caring about me." It was Luna's way of fighting for their relationship, of making sure Maya knew how much she needed her. As Maya sat there with Luna purring in her lap, she realized that this little cat was teaching her something important about trust and connection. Sometimes asking for what you need isn't demanding or selfish, it's brave. As weeks turned into months, Maya found herself becoming an expert in Luna's unique way of communicating. What had started as confusion about Luna's gentle bites had evolved into something much deeper, a complete understanding of what Luna was trying to tell her. Maya began to notice patterns in Luna's behavior that she had missed before. In the mornings, when Maya would sit at her computer with her first cup of coffee, Luna would appear and sit nearby, purring softly. This was Luna's way of saying good morning and I'm glad you're here. But if Maya got to focus on her work and ignored Luna for too long, the gentle bites would start, first on her ankle, then on her hand if she reached down. At first, Maya thought Luna was just being attention-seeking or maybe even a little spoiled. But the more she observed, the more she realized there was something deeper going on. Luna wasn't just asking for pets or treats. She was asking for connection, for proof that Maya was really there with her, not just physically present but emotionally available. Maya started paying closer attention to when Luna's biting behavior was strongest. She noticed it happened most often when Maya was stressed about work, when she was on long phone calls with difficult clients, or when she was distracted by personal problems. It was as if Luna could sense when Maya was withdrawing emotionally, even when she was sitting right next to her. One evening, Maya was researching Luna's behavior online when she came across an article about cats who had been separated from their mothers too early. The article explained that these cats often develop what experts call attention-seeking behaviors. But it wasn't really about getting attention. It was about seeking security and reassurance that they wouldn't be abandoned again. Everything clicked for Maya. Luna had probably been taken from her mother when she was just a few weeks old, either by accident or because something had happened to her mother. She never learned the normal social skills that mother cats teach their kittens. Instead, she had learned to survive on the streets, where getting attention from humans could mean the difference between eating and starving. But now, in the safety of Maya's apartment, Luna's survival instincts had transformed into something else entirely. The gentle bites weren't demands for more petting. They were Luna's way of saying, "Please don't leave me. Please don't stop caring about me. I need to know you're really here." This realization made Maya look at her own behavior in a completely new way. She started thinking about her past relationships with friends and romantic partners. How many times had she become clingy when she felt someone pulling away? How many times had she demanded reassurance in ways that probably pushed people further away instead of drawing them closer? Maya remembered her last relationship, which had ended about 6 months before she found Luna. Her boyfriend had complained that she was too needy, that she always wanted to know where he was and what he was doing. At the time, Maya had felt hurt and confused. She thought she was just showing that she cared. But looking back, she realized she had been doing her own version of Luna's biting, pushing for connection in ways that felt demanding rather than loving. The difference was that Luna's approach actually worked. When Luna gave Maya a gentle bite, Maya's instinct was to give her more attention, not less. There was something about the way Luna asked for what she needed that felt loving rather than demanding. Maya began to understand that it was all about the intention behind the behavior. Luna wasn't biting to control or manipulate. She was biting because she had learned that this was how you fight for love, how you make sure the people you care about don't drift away. There was a kind of honesty in it that Maya found both heartbreaking and beautiful. Maya started experimenting with responding to Luna's bites in different ways. Instead of just giving her more pets, Maya would talk to her, telling her about her day or her feelings. She discovered that Luna was just as happy with verbal attention as she was with physical affection. Sometimes Luna would sit and listen to Maya talk for 20 or 30 minutes, purring contentedly the whole time. This led to another breakthrough. Maya realized that Luna's purring wasn't just about being happy, it was about feeling safe and connected. Luna would purr when Maya was stressed, as if she was trying to comfort her. She would purr when Maya was sad, curling up close and creating a soothing vibration that somehow made everything feel a little better. Maya began to see their relationship as a kind of dance. Luna would ask for connection through her gentle bites, and Maya would respond by being present, not just physically, but emotionally in return. Luna would offer her own form of comfort through purring and simply being there. But the most surprising discovery was how this dynamic was changing Maya herself. She found herself becoming more aware of her own emotional availability in all her relationships. When friends called to talk about their problems, Maya noticed when she was only half listening. Distracted by other things, she started making an effort to be fully present, the way she had learned to be with Luna. Maya also started paying attention to her own needs for connection and reassurance. Instead of feeling ashamed when she wanted extra attention from friends or family, she began to see it as a normal human need. She learned to ask for what she needed in more direct ways, rather than hoping people would just figure it out. The transformation wasn't just in how Maya understood Luna, but in how she understood herself. Luna had taught her that asking for connection isn't selfish or needy. It's brave. It takes courage to say, "I need you to be present with me right now." It takes vulnerability to admit that you don't want to be alone. Maya started thinking about all the times she had interpreted someone's need for attention as clingy or demanding, when maybe they were just asking for the same thing Luna was asking for, the reassurance that they mattered, that they wouldn't be forgotten or abandoned. One quiet Sunday morning, as Maya sat on her couch with Luna curled up beside her, she realized that their strange little communication system had become something beautiful. Luna would purr to show contentment and trust. Maya would pet her to show love and attention. When Maya got distracted, Luna would give her a gentle bite to bring her back to the present moment, and Maya would respond by being fully there, creating a cycle of connection that felt more honest and real than many of her human relationships. Luna had taught her that love isn't just about the happy moments, it's about showing up consistently, about being present even when it's inconvenient, about fighting gently for the connection you need. Sometimes the most profound lessons about love come from the most unexpected teachers. 6 months had passed since that cold February night, when Maya first found Luna shivering behind the dumpster. Looking back, Maya could hardly believe how much both of their lives had changed. What had started as a simple act of kindness had grown into something she never expected, a relationship that was teaching her things about herself she never knew. Maya's daily routine had completely transformed around Luna's needs and personality. Every morning, she would wake up to find Luna sitting by her bedroom door, waiting patiently for Maya to acknowledge her presence. The moment Maya's feet hit the floor, Luna would start her morning purring, a deep, rumbling sound that had become Maya's favorite way to start the day. But it wasn't just the happy moments that had deepened their bond. Maya had learned to read Luna's moods like a weather forecast. She could tell when Luna was feeling anxious by the way she would sit perfectly still, ears slightly back, watching Maya's every move. She could sense when Luna was feeling playful by the way she would crouch low and wiggle her behind before pouncing on a toy mouse or a piece of string. Most importantly, Maya had learned to recognize when Luna was feeling insecure. These were the times when Luna's gentle biting would become more frequent and more insistent. It usually happened when Maya's routine changed, when she had to work late, or when she seemed distracted by problems in her life. Maya began to realize that Luna was like an emotional barometer for their household. When Maya was stressed about work, Luna would stick closer to her, purring more often as if trying to provide comfort. When Maya was happy and relaxed, Luna would be more playful and adventurous, exploring new areas of the apartment or trying new toys. But the most amazing discovery was how Luna had started anticipating Maya's needs. There were evenings when Maya would come home from a particularly difficult day, feeling drained and overwhelmed, and Luna would somehow know exactly what she needed. Instead of demanding attention with her usual gentle bites, Luna would simply curl up next to Maya and purr softly, creating a peaceful atmosphere that helped Maya unwind. During one especially tough week when Maya was dealing with a demanding client who kept changing their mind about her project, Luna's behavior became even more protective. She would sit on Maya's desk while she worked, not getting in the way but just being present. When Maya would get frustrated and push back from her computer, Luna would immediately move closer, offering her head for pets and starting her comforting purr. Maya found herself talking to Luna more and more during these stressful times. She would explain her work problems, her frustrations with difficult people, her worries about money and the future. Luna would listen with those big, attentive eyes, occasionally giving a small meow as if she understood exactly what Maya was saying. The most surprising thing was how Luna had started to mirror Maya's emotional state. When Maya was calm and happy, Luna would be relaxed and content. But when Maya was anxious or upset, Luna would become more clingy and demanding. Her gentle bites would become more frequent, as if she was trying to pull Maya back from whatever was troubling her. Maya realized that Luna wasn't just asking for attention during these times. She was actually trying to help. The biting was Luna's way of saying, stop worrying about things you can't control and focus on what's right here in front of you. In a way, Luna was teaching Maya to be more present and mindful. One evening, Maya was on a particularly frustrating phone call with a client who was being unreasonable about deadlines. She was pacing around her apartment, trying to stay professional while feeling increasingly angry. Luna followed her around the entire time, and when Maya finally hung up the phone, Luna immediately jumped onto her lap and started purring loudly. But this time, when Maya absently petted Luna while still thinking about the phone call, Luna gave her a more insistent bite than usual. It wasn't painful, but it was definitely firmer than her usual gentle nibbles. Maya looked down at Luna, who was staring at her with an expression that seemed to say, are you really here with me? Or are you still thinking about that phone call? Maya realized that Luna was right, even though she was petting her. Maya's mind was still stuck on the frustrating conversation. She took a deep breath and made a conscious effort to focus on the present moment, the feeling of Luna's soft fur under her fingers, the sound of her purring, the weight of her warm body in her lap. The moment Maya became fully present, Luna's behavior changed completely. Her purring became deeper and more content, and she settled into Maya's lap with a satisfied sigh. It was as if Luna could sense the exact moment when Maya stopped being distracted and started being truly there with her. This pattern repeated itself over and over. Luna seemed to have an uncanny ability to know when Maya was emotionally present and when she was just going through the motions. The biting was Luna's way of calling Maya back to the here and now, of demanding genuine connection rather than distracted attention. Maya began to understand that Luna was teaching her something profound about relationships. It wasn't enough to just be physically present with someone. You had to be emotionally available too. Luna was showing her the difference between caring for someone and truly being there for them. The lessons Luna was teaching extended beyond their relationship. Maya found herself applying these insights to her friendships and family relationships. When her sister called to talk about problems with her teenagers, Maya made an effort to really listen instead of multitasking. When her best friend needed support during a difficult divorce, Maya learned to offer the kind of presence that Luna had taught her to recognize and value. Maya also began to notice when other people were emotionally absent, even when they were physically present. She could see it in friends who checked their phones constantly during conversations, in family members who offered advice without really listening to the problem, in colleagues who seemed to be thinking about their next meeting while supposedly paying attention to the current one. Luna had become Maya's teacher in the art of presence, showing her that true connection requires more than just being in the same room with someone. It requires attention, awareness, and the willingness to be vulnerable and open to what the other person needs. As Maya sat on her couch one evening, with Luna purring contentedly in her lap, she marveled at how much her life had changed. She had thought she was rescuing Luna that snowy night, but in many ways, Luna had rescued her too. Luna had pulled her out of her isolated, predictable routine and taught her what it meant to truly care for another living being. The gentle bites that had once confused Maya now felt like love letters, Luna's way of saying, I trust you enough to ask for what I need, and I know you care enough to give it to me. It was a level of honest communication that Maya had never experienced before, and it was changing how she approached every relationship in her life. Nearly a year had passed since Maya found Luna on that freezing winter night, and their bond had grown stronger than Maya ever thought possible. But life has a way of testing the relationships we value most, often when we least expect it. Maya had been feeling secure in her work as a freelance graphic designer. She had several regular clients who provided steady income, and she had even been thinking about moving to a bigger apartment, where Luna could have more space to explore. Everything seemed to be going perfectly until the phone call that changed everything. It was a Tuesday morning, and Maya was working on a logo design while Luna supervised from her favorite spot. On the desk, the phone rang, and Maya answered without Thinking much about it, it was her biggest client, the one who provided almost 40% of her income. Maya, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, the client said, and Maya's stomach immediately dropped. We've decided to bring our design work in-house. We're hiring a full-time designer, so we won't be needing your services anymore. Maya felt the world spin around her. This client had been with her for over 2 years. They had always seemed happy with her work, always paid on time, never given her any reason to think this was coming. Is there something wrong with my work? Maya asked, trying to keep her voice steady. No, your work has been great, the client assured her. This is just a business decision. We're growing and want to have someone on site full-time. After the call ended, Maya sat staring at her computer screen, trying to process what had just happened. Losing this client meant losing almost half of her income. She had some savings, but not enough to cover her expenses for more than a few months. She would need to find new clients quickly, or she might have to consider getting a regular job again. The fear hit her like a wave. What if she couldn't find enough new clients? What if she had to move to a cheaper apartment that didn't allow pets? What if she couldn't afford Luna's vet bills? The thought of having to give up Luna was more terrifying than any financial worry. Maya felt tears starting to form in her eyes. She had been so careful to build a stable life for both of them, and now it felt like everything could fall apart. She put her head in her hands and let herself cry, feeling overwhelmed by uncertainty and fear. That's when she felt Luna's gentle paw on her arm. Maya looked up to see Luna standing on her desk, studying her face with those intelligent golden eyes. Luna had seen Maya stressed before, but this was different. This was the first time Luna had seen Maya truly scared and vulnerable. Instead of her usual approach of demanding attention, Luna did something she had never done before. She carefully walked across the desk, avoiding Maya's computer and papers, and settled directly in Maya's lap. Then she began to purr, but not her usual happy purr. This was deeper, more intense, almost like she was trying to pour all her comfort and strength into Maya. Through that gentle vibration, Maya wrapped her arms around Luna and held her close, feeling the warmth and softness of her fur against her cheek. Luna's purring continued, steady and reassuring, like a heartbeat that was telling Maya, "I'm here. We're going to be okay." For several minutes, they stayed like that, Maya crying quietly while Luna purred and pressed closer against her. When Maya's tears finally stopped, she realized something had shifted. The fear was still there, but it didn't feel quite so overwhelming anymore. Maya started talking to Luna the way she had learned to do over the past year. She explained about losing the client, about her worries about money, about her fear of not being able to take care of Luna properly. Luna listened with that focused attention she always gave Maya, occasionally giving a small meow as if she understood. "I'm scared," Maya admitted out loud, and saying it somehow made it feel less frightening. "I don't know what's going to happen to us." Luna responded by gently biting Maya's hand, not the demanding bite she usually gave when she wanted more attention, but something softer and more deliberate. When Maya looked at her, Luna's expression seemed to say, "I'm not going anywhere. We're in this together." In that moment, Maya realized something profound. All this time, she had been thinking of herself as Luna's protector and caretaker. But Luna was taking care of her too, in her own way. Luna wasn't just dependent on Maya. She was Maya's partner, her companion, her source of comfort and strength. Maya began to understand that the gentle bites Luna had been giving her all these months weren't just about getting attention. They were about connection, about refusing to let Maya drift away emotionally even when things got difficult. Luna was teaching Maya that love means staying present with each other, especially during the hard times. Over the following weeks, as Maya worked to rebuild her client base and deal with the financial stress, Luna's behavior became even more supportive. She seemed to sense when Maya was having a particularly difficult day and would stay closer, purring more often, offering her presence as a form of comfort. The gentle bites continued, but Maya now understood their true meaning. When Maya would get lost and worry about the future, Luna would bite her hand gently, as if to say, "Come back to right now. This moment is all we really have, and in this moment, we're okay." Maya learned to use these moments as reminders to practice gratitude. Yes, she had lost a major client, but she still had her skills, her creativity, and her determination. She had a warm apartment, food in the refrigerator, and a cat who loved her unconditionally. She had friends who supported her and family who cared about her. Most importantly, Maya learned that she was stronger than she had thought. She had survived the initial shock of losing her client, and she was taking action to solve the problem. She was reaching out to new potential clients, updating her portfolio, and exploring new opportunities she might not have considered before. Luna had taught her that asking for help wasn't a sign of weakness, and Maya found herself being more open about her situation with friends and family. To her surprise, several people offered to help by referring potential clients or providing emotional support. During the transition, 3 months after losing her biggest client, Maya had not only replaced that income, but actually increased her earnings by diversifying her client base. She had learned not to depend too heavily on any single source of income, and she had discovered new skills and opportunities she might never have explored. Otherwise, through it all, Luna had been her constant companion and teacher. The purring had provided comfort during the scary moments, and the gentle bites had kept Maya grounded in the present, rather than lost in worry about the future. Maya realized that Luna had been teaching her about unconditional love all along. Love that doesn't depend on circumstances being perfect or easy. Love that shows up consistently, even when times are tough. Love that fights gently for connection and refuses to let the other person face their challenges alone. As Maya sat on her couch one evening, with Luna purring contentedly in her lap, she reflected on how much they had both grown over the past year. She had started out thinking she was saving Luna, but Luna had saved her too, not just from loneliness, but from a narrow understanding of what it means to truly care for another being. The gentle bites that had once puzzled Maya now felt like the most honest form of communication she had ever experienced. They were Luna's way of saying, "I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, and I won't let you face this alone." Maya had learned that sometimes the most profound lessons about love come from the most unexpected teachers, and that true connection isn't just about the happy moments, it's about showing up for each other, consistently and without conditions, through whatever life brings.